here pretty much confirms it for me. I mean, it might not for you, but for me, this tweet by EA pretty much confirms that we're going to see some Force Awakens content in a future DLC, which would make sense because, you know, the season pass costs more than the goddamn game, so we could really use a huge DLC. And the Battle with Jakku was a great DLC, but it wasn't big enough for me. It didn't get the job done, even though it was a free DLC. It was nice to have, but it got pretty boring after a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to some Force Awakens DLC, you know? I would love to play as Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base. Let's fucking go, people. I would love to do that. And anyway, so one of my followers actually tweeted at EA and basically said, are we going to see any Force Awakens content in the future DLC for the game? And EA responded, which doesn't happen too often, but EA responded and said, stay tuned for more details on Battlefront Season Pass in the coming weeks. Which is very interesting because usually if a company is faced with a very controversial question on Twitter, they're either not gonna respond or they're gonna respond with like no, and they're just gonna reject it. But you know, this question right here, it was like, are we gonna see Kylo Ren and Rey as heroes, and you know, are we gonna see Force Awakens content in future DLC? And EA responded, they went out of their way to respond to this tweet and says, stay tuned for more details on the season pass in the next coming weeks. And they never said no. They never rejected it. So it looks like we're going to see some Force Awakens content, which would make sense because, like I said, the season pass costs more than the game itself. That just, to me, is just outrageous. Fucking EA 2015, but whatever. So it would make sense for them to jam-pack a lot of Force Awakens content in the season pass DLC as part of the DLC for the season pass. I mean, that would make sense because the season pass costs more than the game itself. So that would make sense, right? That would only make sense. But knowing EA, they probably wouldn't do too much. But it would be awesome to see, you know, some Force Awakens DLC content, like a Starkiller Base DLC. You know, you're able to play as Kylo Ren or Rey in a DLC. That would be epic. Because at first, when I was first speculating about this, before I saw any evidence like this, I was originally thinking EA would wait and hold on this until like next year or a few years, and then make a Battlefront 2 game or a different type of Battlefront